All right, I see we are live. Good morning, everyone. Afternoon, evening, wherever you are on this planet. Happy Saturday for everyone. At least this is what I can say. And welcome to our mini series in positive intelligence and Leah growing people. If you have been following us, we have been having already two mini series, which we have been talking about what are saboteurs. We have been talking about what is mental fitness. And today I'm very happy to introduce and welcome Elena to our talk, and she will talk about hi Elena, and she will talk about how to conquer your inner critic and how to empower yourself with self-talk. I'm very excited to hear about this. Before we start, I would like to remind everyone that we have a free assessment that you can take, and you see we will put this in the chat as well, and you can see it here available as well. You can go at leahgrowingpeople.com saboteurs assessment, and you can take that free assessment to follow our mini series and have a little bit of insight into your own saboteurs, into your own inner critics. And yeah, hello, Elena, welcome. And I'm happy to introduce you. And I also would ask you to share a little bit about yourself and how you relate to the topic of today.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, everybody. I'm very excited to be here, being hosted by you. Thank you for being here and supporting me, holding the space to share. Because always when we start from a personal experience, despite we are professional in the field, there's always, we're always in a vulnerable spot. And I'm Elena Buriani. I'm the co-founder of leahgrowingpeople.com. Together with my husband, we co-founded this 6 years ago. At the moment, I'm more taking care of, the people development within the Leah community, and of course also our sales targets and impact objectives. I would say because we really love to create an impact for a greater good in our society. And I'm really fond of positive intelligence. First of all, because it gave me a different lens through which I could see, my personal experience and also the type of relationship I was entangling with people around me, and also the type of target I was setting up for myself and my organization. And at the same time, it's also because, I think I've already delivered this program to more than 120 people, starting from kids from 15 years old to very, established professional and executive and CEO out there. And it has been beautiful to witness how sometimes just simple tips, easy to apply, can really create a huge transformation. So I really would love positive intelligence would be a program in every school, actually, starting from high school, before the kids, they get so much stress into. And now we have many of them now going through GCSE, end of year exams, choosing university. I mean, it really would be something that will help parents and kids together to expand their leadership and live life challenges in a different way. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share how much passionate I am about this.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for sharing here. So I hear positive intelligence can be actually applied from high school until the C-suite, and everywhere in every stage of your life, in every position of your life, in every position at an organization, and it has a broad variety. Before I would like to ask you to share a little bit of your own experience with it, maybe you can have a short introduction again on the key elements, what positive intelligence means for you, and how you see it helping from high school to C-suite.
Well, for sure, when I started doing the assessment, I remember my first saboteur was the victim, and then the hyperachiever, and they were both extremely high, together with the stickler as a third place. So it was all about, okay, everything that is going on, I'm gonna, get the result onto my life. I will be not ever be able to be on the steer wheel, because I'm just suffering for all the consequence that opportunities, challenges, the situation in life gave to me, of all the other people around me wanted me to be. And so this continues, self-reflection and self-disempowerment was leading me to a constant inner critic approach. So you are not enough. Um, your voice is not interesting. Your story is not interesting. You are not credible. What do you think you will be able to do? You're just one of many. You are not reliable. You are not credible. Imposter syndrome. And the crazy thing is that when you are in this loop, there's no stop. Those negative way of self inner critic thinking, they keep feeding into each other, because first you start thinking about one of them, this is nourishing another negative thought, which is leading to another negative thought. So it becomes a very sick vicious circle, a negative vicious circle. And I think that was also extremely powerful, my story as a child, because I was a professional dancer and I started dancing since I was 3 years old. And you know how much dance, most of all ballet, I danced ballet for 22 years, really want you to be super detailed. Even, the direction of the finger makes a difference. So you become super hyper achieving because you need to go on stage and you need to work in harmony with other body that are performing with you. You need to be very, detail oriented. And there's a lot of course, also of punishment, because I was a victim of myself when things were not going as I wanted. In addition, being a ballet dancer with a choreographer that does your own choreography, and maybe a singer by singing somebody else's lyric, or maybe an actress playing somebody else plays or somebody else script, I created a kind of a bubble around me where I was only feeling safe when somebody was telling me what I had to do. And then I was working very, 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 very hard to do it as best as possible. The more clean as possible, the more beautiful as possible, the more mine as possible. So this led after, I think maybe 30 years later, finding me when I also started with my company, and willing to have an impact in the world, really not being able to express who I was and what was my real story. If I had to write my own script, what would I write? If I had to dance my own choreography, metaphorically, what would I have danced? If I had to sing my own song with my own lyrics, what I would have put in there, what I would have shouted out to the world. And this self-inner critic got even more pushed and fueled by having a special need child. So at the beginning, when it was very hard to get him diagnosed, and we got, kicked out from 5 schools in 2 years, being labeled and judged by our community, our friends, our parents, to that I had already, it also piled up I'm also an horrible mother. I'm not meant to be a mother. I really don't know what to do. What will be my way of being a mother? And how can I build that my way if everybody around me is finger pointing and just saying, no, that's not right. And even my son, with the fact that he was not eating, not sleeping, having social behavioral difficulties, will keep looking at me and saying, Mom, it's still not enough. That's not right. You are not right. You are mistaken. And so the victimism and the hyperachiever and the stickler got even more angry and punishing me, because the more you aspire to have, higher, success and higher result and quality and excellence in your life, the toughest they are, the toughest they are on you. So this was my personal experience, and positive intelligence really helped me to distinguish what were my inner voices, the healthy one, the empowering one, versus the one that were criticizing me constantly, without allowing me to really create this distinguish between me and the judging part of inside myself. So it was like a mess, a big chunk of very negative self-critic approach. And the decluttering, which is definitely something that a stickler loved, when you really put things in the right places, when you start having a clear vision and clarity, a fun clarity in front of you of who you are meant to be, what are your strengths, what is the reason why somebody put you in this world, and why you wanted to be in this world, because we also make a conscious decision to come and to come to life and to continue living every single day. And this definitely, has been so eyes-opening, and it really changed my life, in a very simple way.
Wow, yeah, thank you for sharing this. Well, it sounds a very painful journey. What I'm hearing is like from early stage on, additionally to all the pointing fingers and all the voices that we might hear from others, that they really don't need to tell to us sometimes. We are our biggest inner critics ourselves, right? Or we are our biggest critics ourselves, and all those voices in our heads inside make it very difficult. And it starts in early childhood and it comes until today in adulthood. And if we don't care about or don't take care about this, this will continue until the rest of our lives. And it's good for you to pointing out, okay, there's a separation. There's those critical voices, but then there's also the sage. And we have been in our other sessions in our mini series talking about what are those voices and how to build that fitness. So how exactly did you use for yourself positive intelligence to get to this more positive self-talk and calming the inner critic?
So the most powerful experience, I think, after I was able to go through the process myself, was really to be able to guide and impact other people, because everybody learn in a different way. I'm a person that I'm learning while I'm teaching or while I'm, preaching or while I'm coaching, So it was, of course, challenging, because sometimes you feel, how can you pretend you're going to teach about to other people how to manage your victim, why their victim, why you are completely overwhelmed by yours, but this also gave me a lot of strength, and creating, the supporting community, recreating a supporting community where the discomfort you have to deal and create a powerful relationship with all those people that have, judged you. And then you have started to judge yourself. When you go into a process of group, coaching, you really start thinking, oh my goodness, but we are literally all on the same boat, we say in Italy, there's nothing different between me and the other. And actually, I can really help them to see a different perspective. And while I'm doing this, I'm creating simultaneously a different perspective from myself. And I think that you agree with me, as coaches, we always get clients that are bringing our own topic, right? It's very funny. We can't explain the reason why that happened, but it always happened. So for me, literally, what I applied the most of the positive intelligence program was really the pod, the group pod. Basically, those are moments where once a week for 7 weeks in a row, we meet with other people that embarked simultaneously together with us to the same program. And we are all focusing all together, usually a group of maximum 6 people. We are embarking and focusing all together on that specific topic and seeing how, from the different perspective of all the member of the group, the topic really get a new shape, and we all become more aware of it, and we all support each other. We are normalizing the effect of those saboteurs. We understand how important, as you perfectly said, they are to still protect ourselves from danger or from problem. We learn how to distinguish the alarm mechanism that they gave us. Hey, be attention, there might be a problem there coming. And we also learn not to stay attached to the fear of that alarm, and actually learning, embracing our more sage and empowered perspective to take control on those alarm and solve them, fix them. Either switch off the alarm or either find a solution to solve the problem that made the alarm kick on, So for me, the most powerful thing was the group, the group feeding into my perspective and allowing me to see things differently.
Great. And the awareness that you're not alone and belonging to someone or to a community that all fights the same issues, has the same challenges, and even going through together with your clients through their challenges, and at the same time healing yourself, like the healer that heals themselves while healing others, is something that I'm hearing. I would be very interested in maybe you have a specific client story, how you helped a client or what a client went through when they're using the positive intelligence approach with you.
Of course, as I was saying, I've attracted to me several clients who came with those inner critic approach, very, very deep rooted in their way of doing things, in their way of showing up at work, in their way of interlacing relationship, or taking also up on responsibility, because if you are so critic, sometimes you also say no to certain opportunity because you feel, I can't do it. It's way too much for me. I'm not good enough to go into that level. And the biggest success story, I think, was with a VP of an organization. He jumped into this great challenge. He left the company was working for the previous 15 years to embark in a huge challenge as a VP in an organization here. And he knew he has this call inside of saying, by saying yes to that, I know I need to do a completely mind shift, because the approach I was having before, it won't serve me. But it was totally scared and paralyzed by the idea of having to do all that job. And so eventually we started by him saying, I have to have a lot of public speaking opportunity because now I'm representing my organization. So I might go and pitch my organization to other people in our company, in our country. And as soon as I have to talk, I go blank, like I freeze, I start sweating. I became completely gray in my face. I start shivering, trembling. So it was really a kind of a stage fright. And we started from there, of course, embracing more the approach of, okay, let's start some technical, way of projecting voices, of rooting your body, because I've been performing my entire life, rooting your body on stage, etc., etc. And slowly, starting from what he could, take at that moment, I started inviting him to explore, okay, but what are your real strengths? And how can you talk through your strength rather than through your weaknesses or through your fear? What is that message, really this message that you want to send across? Who are you? What made you who you are? And while going through this journey of exploring strength, I started seeing the saboteurs coming, like mines, boom, 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 boom. The strength was there, but as soon as he was trying to embrace it, to ventilate it, to embody it, immediately the saboteur was coming and saying, no, you can't do that. You're not enough to even embrace your own strength and stop, and relentlessly was coming again, back, stop, and going back to the same place. So we stopped the work on the strength and we immediately started peeling off, all those layers of, and the judge telling you blah, 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 and the victim telling you, and the pleaser telling you, and the hype, and the stickler telling you. And it was beautiful to see, this person changing even, his facial expression, the color of his skin, the tonicity of his abdomen, the way the shoulders were standing up high. He started having a lot of mentoring session, having speech with students. His company really grew. It were very well recognized, and I spoke to him lately, maybe 1 month ago, and even his voice was different at the phone. It was like so much full of energy, and I was like, how do you feel? And I was like, I feel good. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. So it's really that things of saying, inner critic can stop us from really being able to achieve what is meant for us to achieve, you know and we put ourselves sometimes in life when we feel, I want to take this leap of faith, and I'm now completely scared because I'm facing my limit and I don't know how to face them. So this required a lot of bravery to say, okay, I'll take it. But sometimes if we're not that brave, life will continue throw at us challenges and opportunity where we will still feel that this blockage is still there. So in this case of my client, he wanted to take, that responsibility. But I've also had several clients who came, to me for exactly the same reason, but because they were so much challenged, by managers wanted them to do something they feel they couldn't do. Or when we go in the leader position also, leaders receiving from their report, disengagement, lack of discretionary effort, or people also leaving to join competitor, and the life will keep throwing this at you. So the advice is always, if you feel you are stuck in a pattern where you get the same story repeated over and over again, or if you feel you would love to do something but you're stopping yourself from doing it because there's an inner fear that it's make you doubt of yourself, that's maybe a good reason why you should start looking into the saboteurs, and definitely going through the saboteur assessment, as you have said, which we have shared the link here. It's a fantastic start for you to get awareness and start recognizing, those voices between all the other voices that we all have.
Absolutely. And now I see how it is helpful to be in a pod or in a community, right? Because it almost feels like you have a team of saboteurs standing against you, and when you want to face them alone, that's scary. You have to leave your comfort zone for sure. And it's easier to have a positive team behind you in order to face those scary saboteurs of each one of you, but in a team together. So I absolutely can see how that's helping. And I'm always fascinated by positive client stories, and you can see what you said in the beginning, right? You can apply it from high school to the C-suite. So having a vice president going through this and having a person where we probably sometimes would look up to and saying, wow, those people reached a lot in life. Also, they have their self-critic thoughts, voices, their inner critics, their fears. And it helps, a program like this helps really everyone to go through whatever they have to go through and can manage. That's so beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To build on the group thing, I just want to expand a little bit this. Of course, with Leah, we are creating pods. So we get client coming from that they don't even know each other, and we put them into a pod, which is also very fascinating because under the guidance of a coach, we really make sure that this get a very safe space where they can start interacting and getting to know each other into the 7 weeks. But I've also have run this program for entire team with an organization. So with people already. I've also run the program with the entire family, mom, dad, and their kids, or with husband and wife that they are going through difficulties in the way they do communicate, or in the way they are challenging. They are challenged in a new stage of their life, in a new milestone. Maybe they are getting a child, or they need to move, or they're changing their career, they're relocating, whatever. it has been extremely powerful. So as group, I'm really imagining, whichever group you feel in this moment you want to work on too. It could be your family, your team. It could be you willing to get this support for people you don't even know, but because you believe in a
Mhm.
growth that happened by, being feeded and enriched by other people experience.
Yes, and it can be a beautiful help if your team, your family, whoever you go through together, that when they know what you're going through, when you know what they're going through, to be more understanding of what people struggle with as well. And then on the other hand, if you don't know the group that you're coming into, and it's maybe even a safer space, depending on what you're looking for and what you need. This is so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all this, Elena. I see we're moving towards the end of our time together here. Would you like to share maybe one um, specific aspect, one specific summary to close the session for today for all of us?
Well, first of all, I think the core of the topic is be brave, to ask for help. Do not only rely on yourself, because our perspective is limited and unfortunately is also sometimes polluted by our saboteurs and our fear. So be brave to ask for help, and be brave to let go of the thing that are not serving you. Because of course, when we ask for help or when we embark in a professional or personal journey of growth, we need also to be ready to receive, right? To receive the help. And the help might also show us, okay, man, you need to let go of this if you want me to help you, or you need to rely on me if you want me to help you. You need to trust the process if you want me to help you. So having this bravery, of ask and then trust, trust the process. And this would be my recommendation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Knowing you're not alone and knowing that you don't have to go alone through this would be the summary of our discussion today. Thank you so much, Elena. Thank you so much, everyone else who was joining us today, or if you are watching the recording afterwards. Again, please take the saboteur assessment. You have the link in the chat or in the comments below. And we look forward to seeing all of you in our next mini series, the last one, which will be on the 11th of April. And you can read in our LinkedIn pages everywhere about this as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a wonderful Saturday.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Enjoy your weekend.